All right, hello everyone. Welcome to my Capstone portfolio page. In this video, I'm going to walk us through some of the design choices I made, some of the logic behind what I chose to include, and overall just kind of give us some context on how this piece, this entire portfolio of pieces, came together. So we're starting right here, which is the landing page. It is actually the home page on the portfolio itself, but I'm going to go in order and backtrack a little and start with the About Me page. So this headlines with, a friendly greeting, a sort of warmth that I try to convey throughout the About Me page. It also has my philosophy statement, which I hope provides some context and grounds people in the actual examples themselves, as we'll get to in a second. In terms of design choices here, a lot of the other aspects of the portfolio are very professional, they're very focused, and there's not a lot of space for my personality and this capture of what it's a little bit like to work with me, which I'd like to think is a little bit of a brighter experience and certainly a friendly one. So we're also incorporating with this particular page some aspects of the way I like to design, which is to build in these sort of engaging, playful graphics and switching up the modality of information. This easily could have been 5 bullet points with a link, but I wanted them to be a little bit more inviting and a little bit more fun, the same way I like to think that my design is. So we can also, as you can see, click into each one of these and see an example of the actual project page that I believe exhibits my ability to leverage cutting edge technologies. So we can play with that a little bit. And we're brought pretty much immediately to the at-risk intervention and student support module. So this is a RISE module with all of the project pages, which we'll explore in a minute. There are 8 of them. We start with a headline, a link to the actual RISE module itself, a description. Some of them have a module highlight, not all of them, but it's something I look to implement when I think there's a particularly good aspect of this course that's buried a little bit in. This one has a recorded lesson on systems thinking that I think is really helpful and ended up being pretty well executed. And this one also has my design plan. So something that I want to be able to point to in this portfolio, and that I'm certainly aiming to do, is give people a glimpse not just of the finished product, but actually the process. So this 21-page document is a pretty comprehensive illustration of the way I think, the way I follow the ADDIE model, and all sorts of different keys and clues into what I do to actually design some of these modules. I think probably this is the piece that I'm most proud of in the portfolio because it is so comprehensive and it does point to knowledge of instructional design principles as well as learning science and how to apply them in an actual environment into results-oriented thinking. So yeah, we will now go ahead and dive into the landing page for the portfolio. So this is one that acts like the home page. If you were to just navigate here, this is where you would land. And we can see I've added a little bit of a friendly greeting. I like to highlight this theme of my iterative work and my reception to feedback. And, it's easy to say, so I added it here in the hopes that people will take the action to actually engage with some of the content because it's always an invitation to come and experience it with me. So we have in total 8 projects here. This was a big learning point for me. I pivoted from a lot more projects and a lot more submodules that weren't necessarily organized correctly. And I moved them into these clear, really, really simple descriptions of what at their core there are. So again, this brings us to a project page. Some of them are more simple than others because this is just going to lead us to a PDF, which is again a very long document looking at my process and how I organize things. And then if folks want to head to a module itself, they can go back to the portfolio and check out something like this. This one shares a lesson plan and go to an external project. Lesson plan has to be re-added. That's fun. So the next tab I would go over to is the resume, which headlines all the information you would have in a PDF, but again, it presents it in a visually compelling way, an interactive way where you can click on each things and go to the program itself. This would always bring someone to the My Program page, but for our purposes, we'll just jump to it right now. And this is similar to the portfolio. It is a list of each course, and if you want, you can dive into the project page or the course page and interact with different elements and signature assignments. And last but not least is a contact page. Again, we're just looking to make this easily accessible, headlining it with "Let's chat" and that friendly invitation to what I hope people will perceive as an engaging and exciting experience that they want to continue having and discuss professional goals.